Hello, everyone, and welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs go all in on their business, and we introduce them to professionals that can help them to do so. Today, we have a very special guest. Don, how are you doing today?
Doing awesome, Rod. Doing awesome. Glad to be here.
Yes, thanks. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and the name of your business.
All right. My name is Don Jalbert, and I am an owner and a partner in Exhibit Associates. We do trade show booths, corporate displays, and museum exhibits for places all across the nation.
Awesome. We so look forward to learning more about your business. But before we get there, Don, we want to learn a little bit more about your journey. And we understand that time is one of our most valuable resources. So tell us about your story, Don.
Well, I just hit a milestone, which I normally don't talk about, but I just hit 60.
Awesome.
And so what happens when you hit 60, you're like, okay, what path got me here? How did I get here? And I grew up in Rhode Island, and Exhibit Associates, we're based here in Kansas City. So how does someone go from Rhode Island, the ocean state, and the ocean to the Midwest? And I have nothing to thank but the Air Force for that.
Okay.
And so I tried college out of high school, didn't really work out that well. I had a great time, but they really want you to go to class. If you're going to college, they really want you to go to class. So I'm in the Air Force. I go to England. I have a great time, 5 years in England, involved in a lot of fun stuff in the Air Force. I was a mission planner. So
Okay.
my job was attention to detail. And it was about time over target, getting the planes over the target when it was absolutely important to get the plane over the target, deconflict with other planes, with troops on the ground, everything else. Came in great timing with Desert Shield, Desert Storm. So I was involved in that. And after I was in England, I was like, hey, I'm coming back to the States. I'm going to go play someplace fun. I called up my buddies, and this is 1990, 91. Email is really not a thing. Text doesn't exist. Comms, communication in the Air Force and the military are 20 years behind the time on a good day. So all my friends deploy to Desert Shield, right? So we're all in there. So I'm trying to call people up, and all the tools of the toolbox are being used. As Colin Powell said, we're going to use all the tools in the toolbox. And so all the fun places I wanted to go, Florida, California, some special operations groups I wanted to go to, they're all in country. So the Air Force, in its ultimate wisdom, decides to send me to Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
Now, Rod, have you ever been to Omaha?
I have not.
Don't go. It is very cold in the wintertime, extremely cold in the wintertime. Now, I was like, hey, this is really great, but it's boring. I want to go someplace fun. They were like, you got two choices: go to Korea or get out. And I was like, I don't want to go to Korea. Nothing wrong against Korea, but it's the tempo is not something I want to put up with. So I get out. A few months later, I meet my wife. I joined corporate America. They moved me to Jackson, Mississippi. And so we're there for a year, and then I moved up to Kansas City and started my family, and that's how I got to Kansas City.
Okay.
Once in Kansas City, I finished my degree up, get into programming, software. I have a knack for it. A few others have a knack for it. So we decided, 5 of us decided to start our own company. So we started a software company. Gangbusters. Rod, I can't tell you how fast that thing went. All I know is after 18 months, we had 42 employees.
Oh, my goodness. That's a big growth.
Yeah, big growth. Absolutely incredible. Had a great time. It was amazing. I mean, it just kept going and going and going. It was absolutely amazing. But I decided to further my education, go get an MBA, because I want to check that box, right? Get that MBA. And so I go check the box, and I'm like learning things about business. And I'm like, hey, we should really do this. And my partners were like, Don, you're good at software. Let us run the business. And I'm like, no, I'm a partner. I'm an equity partner. This is how it's going to be. Well, a couple of years after that, I left the company. I took a buyout. Side note, one of the guys who kind of forced me out, who said no, ended up embezzling from the company.
Oh my gosh.
Or getting caught embezzling the company, and spent a couple of years in federal penitentiary.
Okay. It's
So
good you have some forethought to
maybe
see
it
they
was a
weren't on
little,
the
maybe it was a little
same
karma.
thing. Yes.
Maybe it was a little karma. So
Gotcha.
one of my MBA brothers brought me along, and I was VP of Ops and Finance for a wine importer because I knew business, knew nothing about wine. I still don't know anything about wine. Two things: drink what you like, and the glass that you drink from matters. If
Mm,
you drink wine,
okay.
the glass matters.
Okay.
Um, so I do that. The exit out of that was a fun 3 years. Then I'm going to timestamp you. Everybody remembers where they were when they killed Osama bin Laden.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the day I landed in Afghanistan to run a software program for the Department of Defense.
Mm.
A friend of mine from the Air Force, way back when, who I maintained a good relationship with, said, "Here's a great job for you." And I was like, "Great, why are you calling me?" And he goes, "The job's in Afghanistan." My wife goes, "No, right? It's Afghanistan. Why are you going to go to Afghanistan? I'm
Yeah.
in the suburbs. I got the life. Why would I go to Afghanistan?"
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a challenge. That's something different.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then when my wife found out how much they paid defense contractors, the joke is she drove me to the airport.
She's like, "Get out of here, Don. I'll see you when you get back."
Yeah, go. Yeah, exactly. So, and actually, while I was over there, the money was great. So she tells me, because wasn't a lot of things to spend on it over there, but I
Right.
did work out a lot.
Okay.
There was a lot of ex Army guys there, some special operators, and they worked out. So I learned a lot about working out and fitness and nutrition and everything. Still today, I mean, this morning, woke up, hit the gym, chest and shoulders, and protein shake. Staying on my nutrition plan. That's the hard part. Um, I'm over there for a while in Afghanistan. Come back. Kids are about to enter high school. Uh, and we're like, yeah, we really don't want to move the kids at that age. That's kind of an important age. The company wants to move me to Colorado Springs. Beautiful. I mean, we're in Overland Park, Kansas. It's a beautiful place to raise a family, but Colorado Springs is really beautiful. A lot of outdoors. I mean, it's a different. It's the same but different, and I'm really excited about it. But the kids don't want to move, and we're like, yeah, let's do that. So one of my MBA brothers says, "Come take a look at Exhibit Associates." I know nothing about the trade show business.
Mm-hmm.
I show up, and after 2 hours, I call my wife up. I go, "Amy, we got to buy this business." And in true Amy fashion, she says, "No." 5 months later, we
Mm-hmm.
own the company.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
we went through the due diligence and everything like that. And so we've been here in Kansas City for 5 years. Ups and downs, challenges. Probably the biggest challenge is the COVID lockdowns,
Mm-hmm.
because something about trade shows during those 18 months, they really didn't happen.
Yeah.
So an incredible story. We've had some personnel issues. I took over a going concern,
Mm-hmm.
a company that had been around for 34 years, and I had some new ideas to bring to the table as far as processes and internal structure. But the magic is done on the production floor. It's done by our services team. Matter of fact, I tried to tell the production floor because I'm in the warehouse. Hey, just keep it down a little bit while I'm on this podcast, so that way
Mm-hmm.
we're not inundated by a whole bunch of noise.
Yeah, too much noise there.
So,
Now, Don, as you were sharing in your experiences, you were in the military. Thank you so much for your service there. You had worked
wow.
with a few buddies after you got your MBA, and you were a partner in a business. What really
Yep.
interests you about being a full entrepreneur and taking on a current business? What was it that sparked that change?
Well, what was interesting is when I went to Afghanistan. Now, I had been consulting, been a freelancer for 4 or 5 years. And so when I went to Afghanistan, I was with a growing software company out of Colorado Springs. Uh, some really dynamic individuals in that organization, but also in leadership, some not so dynamic individuals in leadership. And I kind of butted heads with them a little bit, not so much on um, the big things, but on the little things. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'll give you a great example, and anybody in corporate America will understand this. If you're thinking about jumping the ship or burning the bridge, this example really said, "I can't do this anymore." I was in Colorado Springs. I had a counterpart in D.C. And his name was Don also, which
Okay.
was I go, "Don, let's have a quick meeting. This was the pre-meeting to the pre-meeting to the meeting.
Okay.
Welcome to corporate America,
I
right?
get it.
But since I had a team, he had a team, I wanted to make sure he and I were on the same page. So I call him up and I put it on my calendar. My administrative assistant, well, I didn't put it on my calendar. I just blocked out that time. And my administrative assistant said, what's that time for? And I said, I'm having a meeting with Don over in DC. We're just gonna have a simple call to discuss, and it's a pre-meeting to the pre-meeting to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so she put it on her calendar. Before I knew it, there were 8 people who attached themselves to that meeting.
Oh my goodness.
And so the meeting happens, and I'm like, what the is
Yes.
this?
Mm-hmm.
And I was not happy. My team knew it. Um, and I just had to suck it up. The people closest to me knew I was irritated.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got the meeting accomplished. Then we had the pre-meeting was done to the pre-meeting. Then we had the pre-meeting, then the meeting, and everything went well. But I'm like, I just wanted 5 minutes, bullet points, and it turned into a 45-minute,
Oh my.
50-minute.
Right.
Everybody had to hear themselves talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? This isn't for me. I think what we're doing is amazing. We're doing amazing work for the Defense Intelligence Agency. We're doing amazing work. This is great. But I can't operate like this. I am. This is not me. I need to have a little bit more control, and I want to be smaller.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and the smaller is not. That's kind of a wrong way to look at it, I want to say. But the easiest way to describe it is I want it to be
Mm-hmm.
smaller.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I don't want the corporate overlords to say this is how you got to do it when they're not in the trenches doing the work.
Right.
And it doesn't matter where you're at in the organizational chart. Because if you have 100 people in your chart reporting to you, there's somebody who's 3 levels down who's going to do something stupid that you have to answer for.
Right.
Right. So it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And vice versa. You're going to have someone 3 levels down who's going to do something amazing. You get to take credit for it. So, it goes both ways. But
mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? I really want to do something a little bit different. So I started looking around in the Kansas City area so I didn't have to move my family.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine from the NBA said, hey, I've got a company you should look at to buy. And not join, but buy. And
mm-hmm.
I had no business buying this company.
Okay.
Because I was a software guy.
Right. Right. It was a
what
little
do
bit
I know about building stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you went ahead and took that leap of faith. So you went ahead and, after that 5 months of due diligence, you purchased the business. Now tell us all about it. Tell us what it is that you do and how are you helping people?
My whole goal is to give the team the tools and the training that they need to be successful and then get out of the way.
Okay.
Now I've been here for years, 13 years.
Okay.
So I understand the ins and outs, but I'm not a carpenter. I'm not a designer. The services team does an amazing role when it comes to setting up a trade show booth, and I can help set up a booth. But what I do is kind of make sure everybody has what they need to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
What a side benefit of this company is I brought my wife in.
Okay.
So she and I work side by side. I found it interesting when I first started doing that. When she first joined the company, I had a lot of friends question me. And I go to Amy. I go, Amy, have any of your friends questioned you working with me in this business? And she's like, no, why? Have yours? I go, every single one of them.
I get it. Now, listen, one of my probing questions as you were sharing that is Amy says no sometimes. I was going to ask, how is that dynamic? How do you balance it?
Well, what's interesting is we one of our challenges we had that we overcame, we decided to put her as president of the company.
Mm-hmm.
So she would have the final say. So there's no, I looked at a company for 2 hours and said, let's buy it. I left a major corporation and started a company, and we had amazing growth. I had a friend ask me for some laptops, and I became VP of Ops and Finance. So sometimes I make very quick decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And as an owner, as the primary owner of a company, you don't have that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just can't say, oh, you know what, today I'm going to become a tattoo artist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not something I can go do just because I want to do it. I have responsibility to my employees.
Yes.
So we thought it's best to have someone steering the ship who's a little more level-headed than I am. I'm not saying I'm insane,
Mm-hmm.
but I bought a company after 2 hours.
Right. 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 I get it. Hey,
Or I
listen.
made the decision to buy it after a
Yes.
2 hour tour.
Yes. Yes.
So it works out really well. We balance off each other really well. I couldn't do it without her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we we do have some challenges. Like we just upgraded our software
Mm-hmm.
for accounting.
Okay.
So we've got to learn new accounting, and that's my business. That's my background.
Mm-hmm.
So I get how software works. She's a teacher by trade.
Yeah.
So a teacher and a software guy should own an exhibit company. We build amazing trade show booths.
Yeah.
We just finished up this amazing museum in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally a block and a half from the White House.
Oh, okay.
When you go out on the balcony of the building, you can see the roof of the Treasury building and you can see the White House. I mean, it's an amazing museum. We just were up in Portland for we're continually educating ourselves. So we learned from a bunch of vendors. We had kind of a industry insider meeting up there. And we're up there for a couple of days with other exhibit houses like us, with vendors, people who can provide services. They were showing us what they can do for us so we can do it for our client.
Mm-hmm.
So working with your wife does have challenges. And the number one challenge was, our kids, we'd go out to eat and they would be like, you can't talk about work.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Well, we said, okay, we won't talk about work. You have to leave the phones in the car.
Okay.
So then we would sit at the restaurant and the four of us would actually have to talk to each other.
That's right. That's right.
So it's the kids were like, we're tired of hearing about it. And we're like, okay, well, if you want to come, we're going to take you out to eat. Phone stays in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always a challenge, and a challenge accepted.
Yes.
And we really enjoy it. Some days some days more than others,
Mm-hmm.
and some days it's a challenge. And when things don't go right, it's you bring it home with you, and
Mm-hmm.
you cannot not bring it home with you. And because your co-worker, your partner, the one you trust with everything, is right there next to you at all times. So that is, shutting it off is tough sometimes.
Well, you have been going for 13 years, so obviously the mix works. It's like if it was too not toxic, then it wouldn't work. It would have imploded by now, but you guys have seemed to find a good balance on it. So that dynamic is one where, first thing my thought was, it's like, okay, he works with his wife. That's challenging because it's hard to cut it off. Especially if you're personal upset, sometimes it can be challenging because now I'm upset about personal at work. That's what I would think would be one of the challenges.
The interesting thing is when we started the software company 30 years ago, my partners, we had been working together for quite some time, and so we said, all right, we can do this on our own. So we got together and had a meeting and came up with a name of a company and thought how we could do it. We could work part-time, so we could work full-time at our software job and a regular job at a large company, and on the side have a side hustle to start this company. And none of us were built that way. So we literally in November said, okay, we have an opportunity, let's do it. On January, on one Friday in January, we were working for the other company, and on Monday we were at our client site with the new company.
Mm-hmm.
And so we made that jump. And so we had known each other, we had been good friends and trusted each other. And so we made that jump, and we're doing the payroll and we're working all this stuff out. They're like, should we just make the check out to Amy? I mean, even then they were like, they know who wore the pants in the family. But Amy doing the stuff at the house, even though you're an entrepreneur and your wife isn't working there, if you're an entrepreneur, your spouse, your partner, your other half is along for the ride,
Mm-hmm.
and they go through the ups and they go through the downs,
Right.
and they're with you side by side. So she had always been there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd been consulting, like I said, and then when I talked about the wine company, right? When my buddy called me up and said, "Hey, I need some laptops," and I'm like, "You can't spell IT. What are you doing with laptops?"
Mm-hmm.
He explained it. VP of Ops and Finance. She's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this will be fun."
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great, fun 3 years.
Okay.
Did some great traveling because wine countries are always fun to go to. Nobody suffers when they go to Napa
Right.
or
Right.
Willamette Valley
Mm-hmm.
or British Columbia, Vancouver. You're not suffering when you go to these places.
Mm-hmm.
So that was absolutely a blast. And she had to put up with me. And I'll put it this way: when I went to Afghanistan,
Okay.
because every time something made the news,
It's a lot of
you know,
concern and worry.
worry, and there were things happening over there. Uh, one guy convinced himself because the British did something 300 years ago, he went and detonated himself in front of the British embassy.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, the barriers, I mean, he didn't do any damage except he killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a mess to clean up, but that stuff never makes the news.
Right.
So there
Right.
was the stuff she didn't hear about, and I had my friends take her out to dinner, check on her, make sure she's good to go.
Mm-hmm.
It was great when I came back because I told you I got into working out while I was over there.
Yes.
So I probably had dropped about 10 of the bad pounds,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I probably through protein shakes and working out constantly probably put on 15 of the good pounds.
Okay. Okay.
And when I came off the plane, she was like,
Ah.
what the hell is this? So that was a fun afternoon.
Nice.
And that, but it was also heartbreaking on my
Yes.
kids.
Yeah.
And I had to leave. I had to go back after a 2-week break, and
Mm-hmm.
that was heartbreaking to them.
Mm-hmm.
We did get to surprise my daughter. Those military homecomings
Yeah.
you see on
Yeah.
TV,
Yeah.
and they surprise them. We did that to my daughter, so that was absolutely. She was 13 at the time, maybe, and a dancer, and she had a dance performance that evening. So
Okay.
I didn't know when I was going to land.
Mm-hmm.
And if I landed like an hour before the dance performance, I don't know if you know anything about dance and when 13-year-olds dance, but they put like a gallon of makeup on.
Okay.
I mean, they're making because they're in the bright lights and everything like that. So I couldn't show up and she'd cry and ruin all the
Oh,
makeup.
yes, yes, yes.
So, but I was ahead of schedule by about 8 hours. So it was like noon. We got to surprise her, and the other dance moms were in on it. So
Nice.
it was absolutely very, very cool. The only thing we did wrong was have our 11-year-old film it,
Mm-hmm.
and she was bouncing up
Ah.
and down because she was so excited too. So there's a couple of good pictures of it, but it
Yeah.
really it is so I love those military homecomings because I got to experience it as well. So it's really good. So sorry, I can go
No,
I can go
no,
all over the
no, no. It's
place.
it's
I'm
more
sorry,
it's
man.
more than
I'm sorry.
fun. This helps to build in the context of your dynamic when it comes to the business, because there's business owners that
Yep.
hey, I make the decision. It is a dictatorship. With you,
No.
you're showing the audience that's watching today that you have your own unique mixture where your wife is there. You guys work together and it works out. So it's definitely not off the beaten path. It is just, your experience. And that's what we want to know. And as you talked earlier,
Wow.
you talked about how you put together a museum. I want to try to talk a
Wow.
little bit more about your ideal clients and who you're providing these exhibits for. So you said museum.
Okay.
Tell us who would be someone that you would want to get in contact with, or someone that would be great for your services.
Well, what's that, man? Thanks for teeing that question up, man. But I really do appreciate it because we have some great clients, and post COVID, I mean pre COVID, we had some large clients and we had some people we had to deal with. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
in business, sometimes even your clients, you have to deal with them. And it's not anyone you would enjoy spending time with. But post COVID, we really did change our focus on who we want to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And they always say people will do business with people they like. And so we do that now also. So who do we like doing business with? someone who enjoys their job first. Well, what is that job? Well, head of marketing, chief marketing officer, hands down, is awesome. Um, but museum directors, museum designers,
Mm-hmm.
there are companies out there that they design museums. Well, sometimes those museum designers, they sometimes try and, how do I say, defy the laws of gravity.
Okay.
They like small miracle occurs here, so they don't allow for physical structure to be supported. They want a nice picture, but they don't tell you how they want it hung or they want it there in its place. So we work with those designers on the museum side to say, okay, that's a great design, but here's our challenge. We can't build that.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is we can't build it is because you're defying the law of gravity right there or the law of physics.
Mm-hmm.
So we work with them and we call it value engineering with the museum side. So those designers, those museum directors, one of our favorite museums is here in Kansas. It's about 90 minutes south of here. And because of a small project we did with them, that museum, the director and their program director, they liked what we did for a small project. We did a bigger project with them because the benefactor, the guy writing the check,
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed our work.
Okay.
Bennett was the benefactor in DC, and he said, "Hey, I want this group out of Kansas City to do my project in DC."
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's a 10-year journey. I just kind of summed up there.
Mm-hmm.
Every small project can lead to something that you'll never know what it will turn into. One of our largest clients is a trade show company. Is a company that does trade shows.
Mm-hmm.
We sold them a $400 banner stand. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
$400. We're like, hey man, glad to help you out. Anything else we can do for you? Well, they, unbeknownst to us, had done a roll-up strategy, and it was just about to come to fruition. So all of a sudden now this company that was kind of large here in Kansas City is now a $5 billion
Oh my
enterprise.
goodness.
And they're like, hey, you know that banner stand you did for us? Yeah. We need to do that all across the nation. Oh yeah, we need this, and this, and this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
And we enjoy working with them. The banner stand was fun to do with them. But now, as I'm in my warehouse, you can see I got crates behind me. They hold trade show booths. But as I look over for my large client, they probably have 150 banner stands, probably 30 10-foot back walls, 100 table throws, and they just keep buying more stuff because they have salespeople. It's a $5 billion enterprise.
Yeah.
They have salespeople everywhere who want these banner stands and table throws and all this other stuff. Why? Because we enjoyed working with Monique. That's my main customer's main point of contact.
Mm-hmm.
And we just happen to be there at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
So you never
Yes.
know. I mean, you just never know. Any customer coming in, we enjoy working with her, and boom, it blew up.
Yeah.
Same thing with that small museum in
Mm-hmm.
Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Small project, got a little bigger project. All of a sudden, did a much bigger project for him, and then the guy who was writing all the money, all the checks,
Mm-hmm.
said, "I like their work. They seem honest, which is always good. Thank you."
Yes.
And they said, "Can you do the job for us in DC?" Now, the answer, of course, was yes, and we figured it out how to do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
But we've done museums here. We've done projects in LA for museums. We've done projects in South Carolina for museums. We've done projects, other museums. We've done in San Antonio, San Diego, Chicago, Denver. But for museums, a lot of it is here in Kansas City.
Okay.
So
Okay.
museum directors, museum designers, and anybody in marketing who needs a banner stand. Or right now in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
we have a double-decker booth that's set up in Vegas for our client.
Yeah.
And one of our guys is out there making sure everything's going smooth and customers happy. So
Look, now, we get that museums are a great option for you to work with and build relationships with. Tell us a little bit more about that side. You're a crew member that's over there in Las Vegas. What type of
trade shows?
Yeah, what type of business does that? Does it have to be a
gosh.
Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or can it be a normal business? Tell us a little bit about that setup and how that works for you guys.
I'm trying to think of one of our customers, and I'm looking around,
Mm-hmm.
who has a national footprint.
Okay.
that anyone would have heard of.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we've done work for Sprint. Sprint no longer exists. We've
Mm-hmm.
done work for Tyson Foods.
Mm-hmm.
We've done work for Ticketmaster. We've done work for we've done some Nike projects. Um, but our mainstay trade show booth company, the 20 by 20 Island, the 10 by 20 Inline, the basic trade show are a lot of these are companies within their industry
Mm-hmm.
that don't have that mass B2C appeal. It's mainly B2B.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Ziwi is a dog food company we do a lot of great work for. They are B2C. They're one of our few B2C customers.
Mm-hmm.
But we just had a packaging company here, and we previewed their booth. They're going to a packaging trade show.
Okay.
So their head of marketing, their head of sales, and their chief designer came in and looked at the trade show booth before we ship it off. Their other customers are those B2C guys.
Okay.
They're the ones who put the Twinkie box up on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Our guy builds the Twinkie box.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh, I
right.
see
So
what you're
there's
saying.
a lot of companies that no one's ever heard of. I mean, Worth is a good example of someone who does B2C and B2B. Most of their business is B2B.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to say, but everybody has marketing, everybody has clients, and everybody's got to kind of focus on what their business development channel is.
Right.
Trade shows are just one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got social media, you got salespeople, you got direct mail, you got all those avenues for business development, but very few are like the trade show business where the decision maker, your decision maker is sitting in front of you, is standing in front of you, asking, "What do you guys do?"
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of guys, a lot of the big decision makers, they'll walk around the trade show floor, they'll have their badge flipped around.
Okay.
So you don't see their senior VP of
Yeah.
operations. You don't see
Right.
their name. You don't see president. You don't see that they work for Walmart or they work for Google, because people want to just swarm. Everybody wants to go to Bentonville,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everybody in marketing wants to go to Bentonville in sales and sell something to Walmart.
Yes, of course.
And we're no different.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to do some Walmart projects. And the fun part about it is Walmart does trade shows also.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we know who the trade show company is. It's not that big of an industry. You mentioned Vegas. So Mike, we got a double decker. Customers out there, they love it.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story on that. Let me digress on that.
Yeah.
They've been a customer of ours for about 5-6 years at the time, and they come in and say, "We want a new trade show booth." We're like, "Okay, let's do it." So they have a list of requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Every booth starts off with a list of requirements, a boring set of bullet points.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is what we want. And they had a 20 by 20 footprint at the show. And so we're like, "Hey, Mary," that's the person who ran North America at the time, her name, Mary. I go, "Mary, that's really good, but to do all of that, the only way is if you go up in
Mm-hmm.
a 20 by 20. You need a second deck."
Mm-hmm.
And prior to that, something I dropped off on that is they've always been worried about their budget. They
Okay.
were sticklers for the budget. They were like every other client, they were really good at keeping the budget. As soon as I said double decker, she's like, "I want that."
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "I want that."
Okay.
And I was like, "Mary, your budget just got blown up. There's no way we can do it for your budget." She's like, "I don't care." I go, and then I was like, in that same meeting, I go, "Mary, I don't want to sell you a bill of goods." I go, "It'll be expensive, but to move it around and set it up is going to be expensive."
Right.
And she's like, "I don't care."
Okay. Okay.
Boom.
There it
And
is.
so the booth goes out twice a year,
Mm-hmm.
Orlando and Las Vegas to pet food shows.
Mm-hmm.
And all because the customer had that boring list of requirements, and I was able to provide a value to them that was outside their train of thought,
Right.
and therefore their budget just went. And really good client, someone we really enjoy working with.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to talk her out of it because I knew what the expense would be, and I knew she's good on budget. But after she saw that, and then we set it up for the first time, they love it. They
Yeah.
absolutely love it. So we really, really, really do that because That's one type of challenge. Obviously, any business has challenges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. With it, you seem to have uh, focused your business on making sure that the people you work with know, like, and trust you. That seems to be one of the themes that you have carried throughout this particular show today. I want to ask
Thank
you.
you.
I want to ask you, Don, throughout your journey, especially the 13 years you have now been in this business, I'm sure you have acquired and nurtured some business skills or best practices that have helped you to continue to be successful. Do you mind sharing with the audience a couple of those different business skills that have helped you to be successful? Maybe they can add to their mix.
Well, yes, I can. Short answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the long answer. So, you know, take a sip, sit back, relax, because there are some things that I've found have helped me out amazing. Uh, one,
Mm-hmm.
Number one, if it isn't written down, it hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Verbal with your best customer can go sideways if it's not written down. It doesn't need to be a formal document. It just needs to be, hey, Mark, I need to do this
Mm-hmm.
and I need your approval. I just need you to say approved in writing.
Yes.
And I tell them I need your approval in writing.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, and we have clients who do multiple shows at the same time. We got to get the right trade show booth to the right place. We need it in writing. A verbal does not work.
Okay.
But it's the old trust but verify,
Mm-hmm.
and so we get everything in writing. That is absolutely saves us so many times to get it in writing. Second thing, along the lines of that, getting in writing is ask all the hard questions up front. So that example I gave you about the double-decker booth,
Mm-hmm.
I knew they had a hard budget, right? And I knew they had all this list of requirements. So in order to get their list of requirements done, we had to remove some to be in their budget or do the double-decker and blow their budget up.
Mm-hmm.
And then even in the meeting, my designer, the designer who was there, will tell you that multiple times in that meeting, I tried to say, Mary, this is going to be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You may not want to do this.
Right.
I tried to talk her out of that deal. And nope, they wanted to do that. But get the requirements down and ask the hard questions up front.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? And we've been guilty of this. We've done projects where the design went longer than we expected. We did this amazing benefactor wall at the Patrick, I think it's called the Patrick School of Engineering at LSU in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
Absolutely amazing donor wall. I mean, it was complex. Design took a lot longer than we thought it would. We had an architectural firm involved, but when we went back to get the extra design fees that we spent, there was pushback because why didn't you tell us that 6 months ago? I should have thrown up the ugly right in front.
Right.
Here's your list of requirements. You want these 10 things. Here's the first revision of the design. Oh, now you added 3 more things. You took one away. Okay, that's built into the equation. Oh, now we've done it for the 8th time. Guess what? Your design budget went from here to here.
Right.
And I should have had that hard question up front.
Right.
Because even with software, my history with software, you could go down the requirement and blow those projects up because the client didn't realize that every time they made a little change, it impacted everything. With design of a trade show booth, you get those list of requirements, you do the design, and if they change anything, you've got to have the question about money up front. And usually it is about money.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You're in business, you get it, right?
Definitely.
I mean, it's the hard thing. So we've got the make sure it's in writing, get the requirements and ask the hard questions up front. And 3, be clear. All right, you got to be clear to people. If someone's walking out of the room and your inner voice is, I'll call it your spidey sense. If your spidey sense is going off, stop that person. And sometimes it's hard to do because you're like, wait a minute, I don't know if they have all the influence, and so all the information. And I think they may be walking out of here with the wrong interpretation of what just happened. So I asked that question. I said, hold on, hold on. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So please, is it okay? And I asked permission.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay if I ask a couple questions just to clear it up before we end this meeting. And then, of course, what are they going to say?
You're gonna be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, let's clear it up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, are you sure you want
Mm-hmm.
X? You know, and oh, by the way, this is your deadline. And it usually falls into. I just thought of something. What's that triangle rod? What's that triangle? You can have it good, you can have it fast,
Yeah.
or you can have it cheap.
Right. Right.
Pick two.
Right.
And it usually falls outside. It's something they want all three of it, or it falls outside of that triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to bring the customer back and make sure they're clear. So get it in writing. Ask the hard questions and be clear.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
and make sure your client is clear, because I used to do design meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not a designer. So I would hear things differently than a designer would. So we have 3 rules,
Mm-hmm.
3 key rules at Exhibit Associates. No talking about design without a designer present.
Okay.
That's rule number 1. No talking about design without a designer present. The other one is the second one is no detailed design without financial commitment from the client.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say the project is $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me here's a $5,000 invoice to start the accounts payable process.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If they're not going to give you $5,000, but they say they're going to do business with you,
Yeah.
something's wrong.
Right.
And that $5,000 is most of the time just paid immediately. And then 3, operations owns all timelines.
Okay.
Because as the head, and I'm the head sales guy.
Mm-hmm.
I want everything done tomorrow. The guys in the shop want it done in about a year. Doesn't matter what it is; they want a year.
Yes.
And so it's somewhere in the middle. So the operations team, run by an amazing individual by the name of Mark,
Mm-hmm.
he owns the timelines, and he says,
Okay.
"This is when we can do it." And he understands all the pressures. He understands
Right.
what's going on.
Right.
Because if you follow our social media, we have these things called trade show truths.
Mm-hmm.
And the first trade show truth is trade shows wait for no one. Deadlines matter.
Yes.
And so operations is really cool. So, I don't do design anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't talk about, I don't even talk about design.
Okay.
I'll sit there and make notes. And so in that double-decker example that I keep going back to, my designer right there, she's like, okay, we can do this. And I'm like, double-decker. And I could see the eye roll because she knew how much it was going to cost our client. But that was it. The client wanted something, and I had a solution for them.
Right.
And they're using it, today. So it's the show's going on as we speak.
Yeah,
in Las Vegas.
Those are some
it's really cool.
Those are some great tips that you gave there. I really do like the writing it down, because we have so many thoughts inside of our brain, so many ideas, but they can't come to fruition if you never make them tangible. So,
Yes.
Writing it down is definitely a skill that I hope the audience is listening to and they can implement that into their business. Now, we have talked a lot about your journey, a lot about the military, Afghanistan, your trade show business, but I want to take a couple seconds and talk about Don. So let's say that, your exhibits are coming along good, time and money, Amy saying okay to you spending all the dollars, and time and money is not an issue. What would Don do with his time?
Well, it's kind of that's a real loaded question. I usually think about those things when I'm in the gym with my headphones on and blocking out the world.
Right.
Just the joke is I always work out to failure because I lose count of how many reps I've done.
Okay.
Because I just want to push the world out. And if someone comes along and says, here's a bucket of money for Exhibit Associates, love what you've done, we want it, go away. I've already done it, and I'm going to explain it to you here in a second. When I had the software company and we had rapid growth, and 40 people in a year and a half, it's a lot of growth, a lot of work, a lot of traveling. I went and did something even crazier. Is I went and got my pilot's license.
Okay.
So I went and learned how to fly. Um, Money wasn't an issue. And if you want, and anyone out there who wants to go flying, learn how to fly, just take 20 grand and put it aside. That will cost you. That's about what it will cost you for your license.
Hmm.
It may be only 10 grand, but if you got 20 grand, that'll go over any overruns because it's expensive. Back when I did this, it was about 10 grand.
Hmm.
Um, but when you're flying a plane, believe it or not, there's very little else you can think of. When you're learning to fly a plane, there's absolutely nothing else you can think of.
Hmm.
The program that they put you through to go flying. So if I had the money, I'd buy an aircraft
Okay.
and I would go fly and visit friends. And I've got a great friend in Rhode Island where I'm from. He's got his own plane.
Hmm.
We went tooling around Cape Cod and the islands. I've got family in Florida. I would go. That's a real fun place to fly. The weather's always good in Florida. That would be something I would definitely want to do. And I would get a plane big enough to. Well, I think I need a plane that holds six now. My daughters are in their mid-20s. They all have boyfriends.
Hmm.
I got two daughters,
Hmm.
so it'd be Amy and I, the four of them, if they come along, and love to take people along. It's I've already done everything I wanted to do. I
Okay.
mean, it's so I would go love flying, enjoy it. You know, I joined the military. I actually served in combat, and then after 9/11, I was like, how can I give back? And I had an opportunity to go to Afghanistan and support the troops over there.
Hmm.
I started a company with some friends, and then I did some other fun stuff. And then I had an opportunity to buy a company. I got my MBA. I got my pilot's license. So, there's no sympathy for Don. I realize how blessed of a life I've had. I
Right.
really do believe I've had a blessed life. Coming from Rhode Island, single parent household. My dad raised us, um, and that's a whole other story.
Hmm.
Um, and I'll just make you laugh on this one. I found out that the single dad who raised me,
Yeah.
was not my dad,
Okay.
not my DNA dad. I actually have a DNA family in Florida.
Okay.
After my parents passed away, through a DNA search, we found out that I have a whole DNA family down in Florida. So I have new sisters. I have a relationship with my DNA dad, awesome individual. Um, and the guy who fought to raise me and raised me wasn't biologically my dad. I
Hmm.
mean, he's my dad.
Yes.
I mean, he
Yes.
did the work,
Right.
right?
Right.
Single parent raising four kids is really hard to do.
Yeah.
So, but he
Yeah.
did it.
That's.
And I feel very blessed with everything that I've done. And this is burn the ship, right?
Hmm. That's right.
This is burn the ship. And so the key points of burning the ship is when I joined the military, I left Rhode Island and went to San Antonio
Hmm.
to go through basic. When I got out of the service, I was in Omaha, Nebraska. I didn't have any friends or family in Omaha, Nebraska, but I managed to make a go there.
Hmm.
And then when I left the large corporation, we jumped ship, we burned the ship, because as soon as we started our own business, my old employer, they kind of sued us. Not a good,
Not a good situation. Yeah.
not, but we were in the right.
Right. I got you.
It worked out that we were in the right.
Hmm.
And then going to Afghanistan, I left suburbia. Overland Park, Kansas is always rated as one of the best places to raise a family.
Hmm.
And I did a blog because of day one. I'm walking the dog. I'm in Overland Park. I'm like, man, this is beautiful. Why am I leaving?
Hmm.
Overland Park deployment in Afghanistan was never used in the same sentence.
Right.
But I jumped. I made those decisions, burning that ship, burning that bridge, jumping, doing what you need to do. Sometimes that voice inside of you um, changes your life for the better.
Hmm.
Because if you make a mistake, you can always recover.
Right.
But if things work out, what if it works out? Oh my God, what is your life? Think about what your life can be. I bought an exhibit house. I was like, this place is amazing. I looked at the industry. I said, you know what? I can succeed here. We had challenges,
Hmm.
but everything I learned after the COVID lockdowns, we came out and said, this is how we're going to do it. I worked with Amy. I worked with a team. and we kept the A players.
Right.
We had 19 employees. After COVID, we had 9, and now our top line revenue is pre-COVID levels.
Okay.
So we're doing with 9 people what we did with
You know,
19.
with 19, that's always a good
So
thing. It's one of those things where you've have had a lot of success, and it's interesting because I ask that question all the time, what would you do? And you've been very fortunate to already have done a lot of those things. So that's
I have
that's
very
great
blessed.
on your end. Now, if the people that are watching today, if they have questions about the exhibits, or if they have questions about Don and his story, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you, Don?
Well, I'm all over social media.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say, you can go to exhibitassociates.com. You can see our company website and everything like that. But go to my LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
Hands down, my LinkedIn profile. I'm on LinkedIn is open, 90% of my workday. There's so much content out there on LinkedIn right now. Now I hit TikTok. TikTok, I'm kind of um, uh, boring on TikTok. Uh, but I hit all social media channels. But LinkedIn is probably my LinkedIn profile. It's just Don Jalbert. It's easy enough to find. I'm posting on it multiple times a day. Exhibitassociates.com. Actually, I'm glad we're talking about this because on August 17th, the new website for Exhibit Associates is launching. So we have a new website coming out. Very excited about that. We are poised for growth.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our processes in place to, because that we're keeping things writing, and our 3 rules. Things are going real well. Very, like I said, very blessed about what we're doing. And you can see all the work we do up on our social media channels.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll get people to go out there and look for those. And Don, we truly do appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing with us about your journey. And we always honor our guests by giving them the last word. So please look into the camera and tell the people something good.
Wow. Tell the people something good. Take the leap. You'll never regret it.
Strong words by a strong man. Thank you so much, Don, for coming on the show with us today.
Rod, appreciate it. Love you, man. Really appreciate this.
No worries at all. And to everyone that is watching, be kind and thanks.